Hello and welcome to this webinar for Centre UB, which is the Centre for National Training and Research Excellence in Understanding Behaviour. We're delighted to have with us today a expert speakers with the focus addressing our broader theme of equity in physical and mental health. So we're delighted to be joined today by Chloe and Mark. Chloe is a HCPC registered physiotherapist and a member of the Chartered Society of Physiotherapy with a PhD in neurorehabilitation. She's currently an associate professor in the School of Sport, Exercise and Rehabilitation Sciences at the University of Birmingham, and her research is focused on rehabilitation, recovery and improved function in people with spinal cord injury. She is also the recipient of a prestigious Academy of Medical Sciences Springboard Award. She is joined by Mark Palmer, and this is an esteemed list of accreditations I've got here, but just some highlights include he is a former BTTAD table tennis team member representing Great Britain at the Sydney Paralympics, is a 2-time world champion and 5 times European champion. He is the highest world ranking of 6, 10 times British Class 4 singles champion and highest British ranking first. And he's also the world CP champion and European silver team medalist. So that's just a few highlights. As you can see, we're joined today by 2 expert speakers with a wealth of experience in this area. So I'll now hand over to our speakers and we'll conclude the webinar with questions at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky, for the introduction. I'm gonna go first, and then after my talk, I will hand it over to Mark. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. Okay. Okay, so I hope everybody can see my screen. So hello, everybody. I'm Chloe Cho, and today I'm very excited to be here to talk to you about this project, the Crime project. Why I'm so excited about it is because this is one of my favorite research projects. It allows me to apply my research developed and discovered in a laboratory into a community setting, and so in a real environment with real people. So that's why I like about this. So I want to start by thanking my people, my team, my collaborator, and they are so important in the journey of this study. And also I would like to thank the Moonwell Center, who generously provides us a space to run this research project. And of course, my funder, they provide financial support to enable us to deliver this meaningful study. So I would like to start from some stats. So globally, there are 1.3 billion people living with significant disability. In the UK, it's about 16 million people living with disability. And the data from the Public Health England tells us that people with a disability are twice inactive compared to those without a disability. So I guess that's not a surprise when we see another data that people with a disability have twice the risk of developing chronic conditions compared to those without disability. And this is a big problem, and it's high on our government's research and public health agenda. And we can also see there are so many initiatives going on in this space to support this initiative. And I would like to share with you my vision, how we can achieve this inclusive sport exercise. We need to make exercise as simple, as convenient as possible, like air and water, just in our doorstep for everybody, with and without disabilities, so they can all come together and exercise together. This also benefit from a business point of view, so open one classroom, but has everybody in the same space. It's easier said than done. So there are barriers which are known to physical activity participation among people living with disability. And there's just a few of them I highlighted here, which are most common. For example, body function and structure, their physical impairment. That means people with with disability, they might have to do exercise in a different way. The other thing is about the societal attitude. When disabled people go to exercise, go out and exercise, they feel the looks from other people, and that kind of put them off a bit. They don't feel comfortable staying around, continuing with exercise with other people. And another limitation is about the trainer or instructor. Most of them, they don't feel comfortable working with people, their disabled clients. And what they do is they put their hands up and then say, I'm sorry, I don't have the qualification or expertise to work with you. Go to somewhere else to work with, to do exercise. And literally they close the door and then turn them away. And another thing is, next time I encourage you when you go to a gym, have a look at the facility. You will see most of the gym has this very nice ramp for wheelchair user to go into spaces. They have a nice, like a large changing room for disabled people and then disabled toilets. But when you go to the real exercise area, there are very few devices that actually are adaptive, allow people with and without disability to use. And so it's funny in this way, like they can get changed, they use toilet and they go and say, oh, what I'm supposed to do now. So that mismatch also is a huge barrier. And because when they go to the people with disability go to the gym, they feel like there are not many people around them having the same condition as they have. They feel they are the minority and they don't have people to share, to talk with. That the level of social support is very important for them, put them off a bit. And the last thing is about the transportation and cost. Some people, they need additional another person to go to a gym with them, to do exercise with them. And not everybody has the means to afford this additional cost. So those are the barriers that we know that prevent them engaging with exercise, physical activity. And I'm going to tell you how our arm crank research or our arm crank spin class address at least 5 out of 6 barriers in a simple community setting. So benefits of the upper body exercise for individuals with physical impairment are well documented. So my research and the research from other groups, we have all shown that with the correct exercise intensity, frequency, duration, people with disability can gain benefits, can improve their cardio, respiratory fitness, vascular health, motor function, and quality of life via upper body exercise. And the effect is just as good as the lower body or whole body exercises. But at that point, in the past, I always did this research in my laboratory in a well-controlled environment. And really what motivated me to go out of my comfort zone is this publication in 2019. The spin, this word really caught my eyes. And I thought, yes, in every gym community, there is always a spin class and it's very popular. So why can't we do the same thing in the community as a spin class with arm crank? So here we are at Movewell and delivering on-crank spin classes. So as you can see, that's our recent class. And we have 2 physio students leading the class. They are trained by us, and then so they know how to deliver, how to take care of each class. People come to the class with different condition. And also you can notice that everyone in the class has their own condition, different range of conditions. And then they come to the same place, they socialize with each other. So in this very simple setting, we managed to address most of the barriers that has been highlighted to avoid reducing people with disability engaging with physical activity. And I want to show you how we started this class. So we started actually last year, about a year ago, we went to NADEX to exhibit our on-crank research, to interact with the user, to get feedback, see if there's a need, whether they like the idea. And the response was very positive. So in June last year, we started the first on-crank spin class at Birmingham Sport in our department. And you can see from the picture, we started from a teaching lab. They even have a skeleton in front of the room. And so at that point, our goal was to test, can we translate a protocol that was developed in a laboratory into a more like community-like environment? And the results were overwhelmingly positive. User wanted us to continue this activity. And in the meantime, we managed to get some funding from the University of Birmingham. And so we started the second cohort in October 2024. And at that time, we ran another cohort at Movewell. We also had Greenbank join and the brand charity join force. So at that time, we had the same program running at 3 different locations. And our goal was to test the feasibility of implementation in the real community setting. And results were very good. I will share with you results in a minute, but overall, the outcome was very positive. And so we started again in January, so at Movewell, and then the focus was to develop training materials and resources for delivery and setup of the class. So the idea is to have this activity become a package for people, any organization who is interested in including this as part of their regular offers, and they can get up running very quickly. And another thing to mention is Greenbank from this year, they have included this exercise as part of their regular offer to their members. That's really nice things to hear. And I think there are 4 highlights that make our class successful, and I'm going to walk you through each highlight. So the first one is safety. This is really high on people's agenda. So people need to be reassured that their exercise won't worsen their injury. But it's not very, what we do is most of them are really common sense. So for example, we use PARQ, which is a very common questionnaire to understand whether people can safely exercise. And if we have any doubt, we work with the people, we ask them to go back to their GP and then get the referral. And then the other thing we do is very small thing. There are so many tools around to enable people, make people's life much easier to exercise. For example, if people with poor hand function, they cannot grip their paddle, there are gripping aids to help them to do it. Some people have a higher muscle tone. It's easy for them to get blister on their skin because of the friction, and we can use exercise gloves to prevent that. And some people, they have one side of the body stronger than the other side. And then so when they exercise, they twist the bike, and that's not very safe. So we put some silicone mat and then put some weight plates around, so then stabilize the bike and they can exercise safely. And we also to take blood pressure. It's just part of the normal health monitoring, and to ensure everybody exercise safely. Just small thing, but make a big difference. The other thing is about the accessibility, which when people think about accessibility, they think about, oh my God, this is very expensive. Yes, some of the items are expensive, but there are always options that are more affordable. For example, the bike we use, it costs around £160, and then people can buy it from Amazon directly. And that's already make the exercise much more affordable, accessible for people. The other thing is we use high adjustable tables, so we can accommodate people in different sizes of wheelchair, and we ensure they exercise in good shape, in good form, to prevent injuries. And again, this table can range from 200 to 2,000, but you can look for options to find something that work for the budget of your organization or individuals. So I think we just need to think laterally and creatively. The next one is highlights about engagement. So we know people have to feel motivated, engaged in order to keep an activity going for a while. And our magic is around exercise intensity closely following the music tempo. So the music is not just a background music or motivate people. It's actually when the music tempo goes up, people have to exercise faster or increase the speed of the movement. And that creates the enjoyment and fun and tension from the participant, from people in the class. So I'm gonna show you this video. You can hear when the tempo goes up, they also move faster.
Who you gonna call? If it's something weird and it don't look good, who you gonna call?
Okay, Yeah, so that's how we do it. So people pay attention on the class and then they also enjoy the music. The third highlight that makes us this study successful is the exercise intensity. I need to put my physiotherapy and scientist hat back. So we know exercise intensity closely relate to the outcomes and results. So people come to exercise, they want to see the results. And so exercise intensity is key. And so we use this rating, the traditional RPE scale, which is very easy to help people understand where they are and then to control the exercise intensity. Another thing we use, oops, couldn't get the other one. Another thing we use is exercise heart rate. So this is also a very simple technology you can buy from Amazon, from internet. You put a heart rate monitor on the chest, and we can see people's heart rate during the class. So this way, allows us to provide individual coaching. For example, we see people's heart rate is a bit low. We'll say, oh, Mrs. Jones, Mr. Taylor, now you need to work harder. It's good for your heart. Come with us. Or if we see someone has really high heart rate, we say, oh, you need to take a step back. It's too high. Let's just, we need to pay attention on that. So this one, first of all, ensure our exercise, we can better control the quality of our exercise intensity because we are monitoring constantly. Second of all, it also give people confidence to work with us, exercise with us safely. So finally, we'll come to these benefits, which are the result, aka results. This is super important. And here I'm going to show you data from 11 participants from Moonwell and Greenbank. So as you can see, we have a range of conditions, people with a range of condition participating in our class. So it's not just the class doesn't work for single condition, they can work for multiple conditions. And first of all, we see, okay, I need to explain to you this graph is like, what do they mean for pre-one, post-one? So we have two cohorts. The first one started in June 2024. And then when we started, we did an assessment, pre-assessment to all the participants. And then at the end of that block, we did a post-assessment. Then we had a summer break and we resumed the class in October 2024. And we did a second pre-assessment. Then at the end of the second cohort, we did another post-assessment. So the first result I'm showing you here is a 6 minutes arm test. It's a common test to test people's exercise fitness, exercise capacity. So people need to cycle as far as they can in 6 minutes. And from our result, we see people increase the distance in 6 minutes. They can cycle further after the first block of exercise. They maintain the effect even though there wasn't any class, and that they continue to improve after they return to the class. We saw people improve their upper body strength, which is very essential for their daily activity, holding children, holding their grandchildren, and even doing like their wheelchair around. The mobility is very important, transfer themselves from one place to another. We see that people improve their core strength. This is very important to prevent injuries such as low back pain when they're doing sports and daily activity. Last one, we also see they improve. They feel better physically and mentally. Not just about those measurements we took. People told us they feel they improve their bowel function. They pay much attention on their diet, and hence that help their weight management. They also say to us they slept better because they exercise, and everybody talk about the social impact, social interaction on their mental health. And so with all those effects, you're probably not surprised, we see a very good engagement from our cohort. Our average session rating is 4.8 stars out of 5 stars. And then the feedback overall is really, really positive. And just some quotes, testimony from some of our participants. And then they feel like not just physically more fit, definitely mentally as well, feeling like you're part of something and stuff like that. It's a group. I just feel I work harder. We all feel like that. And the last one I feel is very interesting. I think it's more manageable in terms of exercise and support when I'm around other people that have got similar disabilities or similar knowledge to what I have. It made me exercise and made me come out of myself more. It's very important from a psychological point of view. So that's all the research I would like to share with you. Before we go into the implication for policy and practice, I would like to hand over to Mark to talk about his perspective from an external organization. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, hand it over to Mark.
Mark, I think you're on mute at the moment.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me today and for that introduction. Like you said, I'm actually sports development manager at Greenbank Sports Academy, which is based in Liverpool. And we've been involved for the last year in the programme in terms of developing sport and physical activity. Just trying to turn my slide, sorry about that. So we're a charity that was established in the early 80s, and I think it's important. We're a charity that was established by and for disabled people. We have a college, but we have the sports academy. That is in essence a leisure provider that supports people to achieve their potential for inclusive education, sport and leisure activities. And that involves a whole gamut of different provisions within a community-based sports facility. And over the years, we've done a number of different interventions and programs, including disability sports, weekly activity programs. We developed a power hockey program for people with muscular dystrophy and severe disabilities, and also developed power hockey. So very much so, that links into what Chloe was saying in terms of the arm crank program, in that by offering choice and variety to people and giving people that accessibility to community programs and taking part at their own level, at their own choice, is a massive provider in terms of social inclusion, but also in terms of that intervention, in terms of getting involved in activities that you may never have heard of or may never tried before. And traditionally, I can echo Chloe's comments in relation to modifications and adaptations that can be there in facilities, can be there in leisure providers, but are sometimes not utilised and used enough in terms of allowing people to participate in sport. So when the arm crank program was introduced to us by the University of Birmingham, it made me look at all the different types of partners that we work with. And I think one of the successful things in terms of community-based programs, as Chloe was saying, was that referral that you get into a program, but also the way that you work with your partners locally to ensure that you are getting a diverse, population, but also you're getting people that really want to try it and it's really going to be a benefit to. One of the things that locally we were involved with is the Access to Exercise and Wellbeing program. And as Chloe was saying there, locally with the Arm Crank program, we teamed up with the Brain Charity to offer trials and services for the last year. But also we've been involved for the last 3 years with a program locally with the Neurotherapy Centre in Chester, and a number of partners that you can see at the top of your screen, the Brain Charity, Wharton Centre. And I think that's important to highlight, because it's some of those lessons that we learned through doing that program as a community-based facility that really infused me to get on board with Chloe and get on board with developing not just the training, but developing the arm crank sessions as part of our core offer and continuing it. So the Access to Exercise program does mirror a lot in terms of where the arm crank sessions can really help a community-based activity program. So for us, the exercise and activity is across 3 venues with the option to get it into more leisure and health providers. It includes everything, but in terms of some of that specialist equipment, we have things like Ferrobike, like FES Cycle, and then able to not just offer the equipment, but also offer that social environment to do things like classes, to do things like digital classes so that it's both accessible to people with disabilities, but also the choices there to participate at an option that you like. And also if people have periods in their time, which is a lot more common with people with disabilities and health conditions, then you've got the option to actually do this at home as well. But then you've also got the option of improving that social interaction by going to places like Greenbank, like the Move Well Centre, to participate in them. I think where Brio Leisure comes in is that the Access to Exercise programme really attracted a core leisure provider in Brio in Cheshire. And what they've done then is offering those community-based sessions as part of their core programme, which is a massive aim of the arm crank sessions moving forward. And also linking in wellbeing, physical activity into that means that that social offer is available. So for us at Greenbank, we very much concentrated on the sport, physical activity and health offer. Working with our partners, it's allowed us to refer people into the wellbeing offer, into the brain charity to do more of the social, and then also education as well. Significantly, I think last year, and just to do that as part of the program where we've gone as a partnership within the Access to Exercise is the fact that location wise we have lots of specific health establishments like the Brain Charity Nero that are offering it. The Brain Charity recently had a new gym, a neuro gym that's developed the amount of people that can access classes but also access the equipment. And they've also employed themselves as a charity physiotherapists to allow the expansion of the services so that it's both community charitable offer, but also working with the NHS and working with the other professionals. I think one thing locally, what's really helped with us is the Walton Centre, and obviously linking in some of the objectives of the programme into core objectives of the trust of which they develop in. So the targets for exercise referral was set at around 50 people, which some people may say is quite low, but what it done was very much linked in with their social value mark of Health and Bronze Award. But what it did was actually made it be part of GPs, occupational therapists, specialists, nurses, doctors' agenda, so that they were actually referring people directly through to us as a community-based setting and really supporting the individual's development, really. And some of these pictures here, I think, from our perspective, show why programs work. And the big one there, equipment everyone can get a hold of, quality coaching for all. They told me I couldn't play football, power, unity, respect. All these things that, again, Chloe mentioned at the beginning of her presentation, is reinforcing the fact that through offering choice, through offering opportunity, most importantly, not getting down the participation number route that we can do in community sports development over the years, is one of the benefits of these programs. It is about that person-centered approach. It is about providing something that would really be beneficial to the individual, but at the same time having that social setting and improvement. And this slide here, I just put it in terms of currently as an academy. I think a lot of organizations can look at where they're going and where they're developing. And as a sports academy, we've been doing that. When I look at the sustainability of a community-based program, I think what works is the fact that our objectives, initial objective, dovetail with that of a community-based program and how that has to work. So one of ours is operate and run a sustainable sport and leisure facility with income generation at the core to enable a sustainable model. And I think hearing, like you heard there from Chloe around the arm crank program, sustainability is key. But the fact that there are different models in terms of how partnerships can fund the equipment, how people can fund the pulse bands in terms of monitoring heart rate, I think that's very flexible, and opportunities are there locally and nationally to move into that area. Continue to develop research evidence opportunities, understand the barriers that exist within physical activity, health and well-being. This was one of the major parts, and you've heard about the research that we've done both at MoveWell and at Greenbank. But I think that sometimes community-based programs don't embed that at the start, and also don't utilize research to make sure that it's showing that there is a benefit to providers, but most importantly to individuals. Understand the needs of our community to embed positive behaviours and bring about change before moving community-based clubs, organisations, programmes, initiatives. I think that's something that Greenbank has at its heart over the years, is the community, and is about making sure that it is user-led, disability-led. And if we embed that within anybody that would like to start an arm crank programme, moving it forward, then that's a massive positive. One thing we've done is we've not got physiotherapists on site. So the team, Chloe and her team, came down in January this year and trained some of our gym instructors and our sports leader staff in terms of just making them more confident to actually deliver these sessions. And that sharing some of that knowledge was really, really essential to us. That very much links into the next part about being disability confident. You know, some people, as Chloe was saying with equipment, some people are apprehensive, don't want to use it, which is the same in terms of campaigning, making decisions and policy. Sometimes it's just the apprehension that stops us from making use of a great program that can provide benefits to both disabled people and non-disabled people. So actually advocating for that change and making sure that we do get these into all community settings is vital moving forward. And also working together. I think one thing again that I love with the arm crank program is that it has been very much a partnership from the start. We've appreciated the support that we've got from Chloe and her team in terms of coming down and delivering some of the sessions for us and some of the wider physiotherapy team, but also in terms of making our staff more confident within the area of arm crank and what it wanted to deliver. And that diagram there, really, like I say, is our vision for the next, that we're looking at for the next 5 years for Greenbank. But every single one of those crosses over to how we make a sustainable arm crank delivery program. Disability sport and community is at its heart. Sometimes, like I said, facilities and the cost of utilising a program can get a major barrier, but I think this is very affordable to do, and there are lots of options locally whereby you can get that. It is very much partnership driven. I had the benefit of going to MoveWell the other day, and what I could see was that it was a team approach. Everybody was buying into what it was the users wanted to do, and everybody supported each other, which was great. And the last one I wanted to touch on there is the fundraising, because I think if you get a user-led approach, then it isn't always about just getting health funding. It isn't always just about getting university research funding. It is very much about looking at your local areas. Maybe you're a charity, maybe you're a trust. Utilize your local areas to make sure that sustainability is inbuilt into the program, and that that isn't a barrier that stops you from moving forward straight away. Make it part of your core, and that way then, you know, numbers will not be needed to be thought about. They will come, and they will be key, and you will have that person-centered approach. And lastly, as Chloe said, just highlighting there that we are continuing to do the arm crank program. It is part of our core program now, and we do it twice a week with set sessions. But also, what I love is that some of our users actually came along to the training that Chloe delivered in January, and they're starting to actually deliver sessions from their own, but also offer that self-led session. So they've got the flexibility to do it at home, but they've got the flexibility just to come along after taking part and having their park used, to come along to Greenbank and actually do a session just with maybe one person, two people. So again, it's all about them improving quality of life, improving those individual outcome measures. Lastly, there's this slide here, bringing it to home. Every project needs a driver, and for me, it was Jerry Kinsella, who's the founder of Greenbank, who again was had polio, But what he did was he used his vision of being involved in Paralympic sport and his experiences of being a disabled person to actually drive Greenbank, to drive power hockey forward. So I think one of the major benefits is that the participants that take part in your program will be part of your driving force. They will lead to it being a successful community-based activity. So thank you very much for that, and I'll pass back.
Thank you very much, both. And so that was really fascinating and interesting to hear. I mean, everything you both talked about really rhymes well with the Centre UB. So it's been delightful to hear from you. I mean, we have key strategic priorities around equality and diversity, co-production, partnerships, but also sustainability, which was really interesting to hear you talk about that, Mark, particularly as we had a webinar a couple of weeks ago focused on sustainability in a different context. So really, really interesting, and we'll definitely expand on understanding. So to begin with then, a couple of questions